cultivating mature positivity.
CMPRadio.net.
Passengers, this is not a shoe. This is disorder. This is size 10 chaos.
Tired of being stuck on 76, 95, 476, 222. You get the picture. Anyway, jump on this train.
We've all been stuck in traffic, so you kill time with traffic. You might start to make another phone call, etc. Well, this happened after a 10-car pileup on I-10 in Louisiana. This guy here, Jimmy Jennings, he's making a very solid decision of jumping off a bridge. Jumping off the bridge, and the bridge crossed the Achalea River, and this is the Basin Bridge off the Achalea River. He was in the car with someone. He asked him, "Hey, dude, come on and video me while I'm doing this." So he jumped off the bridge and then hit the water. Now, mind you, look at that form as he's leaving the bridge. You're jumping, and that was like a 70-foot drop. He could have easily broke his legs, anything. But here's the best part, though. Said Jennings, I couldn't get back to the bank. I went off the waterfall and I went off the bridge, hit my shoulder. My shoulder started hurting, but I started to swim. I couldn't get back to the bank because the current was way too strong. Yeah, no kidding. And then that's when wildlife agents then began a hours-long search for him. And the wildlife agents and also the St. Martin's Parish Sheriff's Office. Jennings said, "I stayed in the water probably about two and a half to 3 hours. I thought I was going to die. Finally, all the waters were still and calm, and I was able to make my way back to the shore. It was pretty crazy to be getting back to the shore," said Jennings. "No, sir, what was pretty crazy was the decision to jump off the bridge in the first place."
We must all of us on this train of life remain in our allotted station.
It's time for the D train with Darren DeVoue,
The divine keeper of the sacred engine.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining us on the D Train with Darren DeVoue on CMPRadio.net. And shout out to Dante and my main man TJ. We apologize for last week's episode. I had vision issues with the computer screen, but this week I set the font size to Sesame Street, so we trade in solutions on this train. Joined as usual behind the glass by my man, the big man.
Hold.
No, my bad.
Okay,
it's all good. We good. We're good.
No. Let's start this off right.
Okay.
By your what?
By my homie, big homie.
Big homie. Right. Okay. How you doing?
Uncle P.
Right. Now, what was wrong with the way you said it earlier? He's like, my man. Like, what's wrong with that? You don't know?
No. Well, you
said my man, and then you stumbled over it and replace it.
Oh, because I was thinking to myself, you just used my man. You're gonna I was being redundant, but I should have just kept it going.
Just keep it flowing.
Right on. So in that respect, the D Train is brought to you in part by the Mad Greek. The Mad Greek, so delicious, so fresh. Located at 2805 Chichester Avenue in Boothwyn. Oh my goodness, delicious and fresh and authentic Mediterranean and American street food. Oh, just the other day I had me a little kebab. Got me a kebab at the Mad Greek. Beef, by the way. P. There you go. Then went for a walk in the beautiful pre-fall air. That savory, tendy beef. Oh, the Mad Greek makes. Whoa, were you about to say pause?
No.
Okay.
No, that's just what you just say. The craziest of things. So I'm just gonna let you do that.
All right. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Open from Monday through Friday, 11 to 9. Saturdays, actually they close at 8 now, right now during these pandemic hours. So open 11 through 8 on Monday through Friday, noon to 8 on Saturday, and 12 to probably 7 on Sundays. Call them at 610-494-0400. You can get them on Mad Greek, DoorDash, Uber Eats. Tell them you rode the D train there when you treat yourself to the Mad Greek.
Mm-hmm. I guess. I was about to say I never had it, but you did bring me something.
But I brought you something. You weren't. My thought was right. My execution was off.
Right. Once you
So
say
we'll
they
put it
serve
that way.
pork, I can't trust.
Oh, that's right.
I can't trust the meat that you bring me.
Okay. What about the desserts?
It had nuts in it. Like
You don't like it? Jesus, you're homophobic.
I'm not homophobic.
No, I'm kidding.
I don't want nuts in my dessert. Get your nuts away from my dessert. All right, back them nuts up, bro.
Oh, goodness. Oh, that takes us on to, last week, actually, let's talk a little, we'll say that in a second. Talking about this past Friday, we start off with the mighty Clippers of Chester and their win Friday. Hold on, give me a second. See Proud. No, hold on. Let me do it right. See Proud. Was that proper? No, I still got to work on it.
See pride.
There we go. All right, there we I'm going to get it.
See proud.
I thought
see pride.
Okay, pride, not proud. Okay,
Pride.
got you. See, okay, there we go.
Now you got it.
They defeated the Martin Luther King Cougars 18-6. They're only allowing 3 points a game so far in the 3-0 start. Mm-hmm. And actually, the 6 points that they gave up was on a punt return. Mm-hmm. So there's that. The defense turned up the heat in the second half, bringing more pressure with the blitz. Today, the defense. Oh, they didn't. They made a stand in their own territory. Tipped pass from senior quarterback Isaiah Freeman was tipped and intercepted in their own territory. The defense made a nice stand. Speaking of Freeman, that is one stocky chap for a QB. Boy, he's a solid young fella.
Yeah, he plays on the basketball team too.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to check him out. This is senior year, so this is your last shot to see him.
Yeah.
And you had to like what you saw out of the running game. Electric 20-yard plus run from freshman, what's my man's name? Nyree Melvin. Mm-hmm. And offensive line got a nice push throughout the game, opening up holes for Melvin and I forget his first name, last name Noble. I'm still getting to know the roster, folks. No, last name Noble, number 9. Okay, anyway. Clippers are in action this Saturday.
Noble Thompson.
Noble Thompson. Oh, his last name. Okay, Noble Thompson. There we go. The Clippers are in action this Saturday at home in conference matchup against Interboro.
Yeah.
11 a.m. this Saturday.
And it will be live on.
Yes, thank you. And it will be live on cmpradio.net. So check it. If you aren't able to make it out to the game at, what's the name of the park, P?
It's the Benny Jet Field.
Benny Jet Field.
Right.
What about the park? That's not a stadium overall. It's a stadium to me. When I look at it, I see a stadium.
What are you talking about?
Where the Clippers play their home games.
The Benny Jet Field. They just renamed it yesterday. Shout out to Benny Jet.
Oh, okay.
Benny the Jet Wright. You know, he was a staple for the track team.
Okay.
Right. You know, helped a lot of people, man, reach the dreams that they never really had before. So it was definitely a huge honor yesterday to be there. I didn't take any pictures because I said I'm gonna take pictures when I go to the football game and make sure, you know, I pay my respects to him.
Okay.
Right, as the pioneer that he was in the city of Chester.
Benny Jet. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah,
I'm still educating myself.
Right.
All right, there we go. Well, anyway, the Clippers are in action. Look to go 4-0. So can I say go Clippers?
No.
That's not the phrase. What do you say?
Fear the ship. Fear the ship, bro.
Fear the ship. Okay, see? There we go. Fear the ship. Oh, it's right there in the pick. Anyway, so fear the ship. And with that takes us on to, you know who's playing, speaking of football games, you know who's playing this afternoon.
Oh, who's playing this afternoon?
2 hours after we take air.
It's time to ride across the gridiron.
Come on, you commie pissant. Let's play some football.
You know how to play winning hard-nosed football? You play football like a damn wild man. No, like a damn rampaging beast. And that's the way you're gonna do it. You go out there, you tear their heads off, and you down their necks. Let us pray.
Let us
Darren
pray.
runs down this week's NFL matchups.
Football.
Eagles take on the Atlanta Falcons in a few hours. Both teams coming on off of breaking in new head coaches. Nick Sirianni, as we all know, for the Eagles, and replacing Doug Peterson as the top man. And meanwhile, Arthur Smith, former Tennessee Titans offensive coordinator, he will be wearing the big headset on the Atlanta side of the field. I see predictions from Eagles fans, that way, but most of them are highly optimistic of this season, and especially what they're going to see going in to this season. And I understand that, because I used to have those kind of delusional expectations about the Eagles until I got to my happy place with them.
Where's your happy place located?
Oh, man, in Peaceville.
Where's Peaceville? Just knowing that just whatever they do, they do.
They do. There you go.
That's where you are.
It's going to happen.
So
just enjoy the ride.
Did you go to the parade?
Oh, did I enjoy the parade? No, I actually watched the parade live at home.
Okay.
Before I watched the parade, I made sure to watch all the the videos from the previous NFC title game losses, and I went through. It was cathartic. I went through all that heartbreak, and I looking at the Eagles as the vans or buses were making their way down the Parkway, and it all just washed away.
You're sad.
What? Now what? What do you mean you're sad? Not going to the parade?
That's sad. No, I didn't go to the parade. I wasn't watching football. I was on a football strike. I was with Colin Kaepernick.
Okay.
I was one of the lone few black people that actually could withstand not watching a game that uses our talent and doesn't pay us. No black owners in the league. And,
right.
Go black people. Right. And so I can withstand from football. It's not a drug for me. Right.
Understand, I've sold out to the game. I actually, major injury. I've given a lot to football, so watching it is just, it's in a different spot for me. Sorry. What?
What don't we sell out to?
Especially if there's $1 involved.
Right. Sad.
Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts has only played 10 snaps in the preseason, but then again, that may be a good thing, because Thursday, when the Buccaneers were taking on the Cowboys barely threw Dak Prescott in practice, and he wound up with over 400 yards on 58 passing attempts. So I don't know why you would put a quarterback coming back from a major injury, but that's what I like about the Cowboys having Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy is going to screw this up for the Cowboys. I'm looking forward to that.
Why
No,
not?
huh?
Mike McCarthy?
The coach for the Green Bay?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. Listen. It was Aaron Rodgers that got him that far in his execution, but did you see that Seattle actual coaching? That Seattle game, that NFC title game that they lost to Seattle, they should have fired his ass right then when they allowed that comeback, because he wasn't relating to his players what in the moment. He wasn't coaching in the game, in moment to moment, as a general has to do. Says Sun Tzu in The Art of War. Generals must adjust the conditions on the battlefield as they occur. Anyway, we're getting off topic. We'll see how much, we'll find out. Oh, well, wait, actually, I don't want to use the Cowboys as an example. But looking forward to finding out what the Eagles are going to do this afternoon down in Atlanta. Mercedes-Benz Stadium. The Phillies, although in second place in the division, we all thought with the schedule that the Phillies had coming up that against all these sub-500 teams, that this is when they were going to make up the ground, push themselves into the wild card and either the wild card and or the division title race. But they haven't handled their against these sub-500 teams, because they've gone under 500 against these sub-500 teams. Yesterday, over the past 10 games, they're 5-6. 11 games, they're 5-6 over the past 11. That's including last night's win against Colorado. They haven't handled their business over that stretch. They're going. When did they play again? Can't recall, but
that's bad.
Yeah, they're done for the season. Oh
Awkward silence.
Awkward silence.
Yeah, you just were quiet. Like,
Oh yeah, awkward silence because I got. Oh yeah. All right, the camping. They haven't handled the distance. Yeah. Oh, sorry. On to our next story. Yesterday was the 20th anniversary of 9/11, and our 45th president, Donald Trump, chose to spend the day at memorials with survivors of the tragic event. Psych. He got a ride down a few streets down to the firefighters and police hall for a photo op, then got on to Hollywood, Florida, so that he could announce color commentary for a fight between 58-year-old Evander Holyfield and 44-year-old Vitor Belfort in an exhibition bout. It was on pay-per-view, like somebody asked for this fight. But Trump was joined by his son, Donald Jr., which I can only imagine was some scintillating analysis. Trump, I love fights. Great observation, Dad. Back to the 56-year-old Holyfield. Obviously, he's taking this fight because he needs a check. And he's had financial difficulties, as notably since 2008 when his mansion was placed on foreclosure. Rick Ross actually owns that mansion, by the way. He also had financial issues from constant child support from multiple children, failed business ventures, as well as 3 divorces. It's cheaper to keep her, boy. In 2012, the Independent reported that he was, quote unquote, flat out broke and bankrupt. By the way, Holyfield lost by technical knockout in the first round. He was knocked out. Belfort swarmed him, hit him with some punches, knocked him down to start the fight. Evander Holyfield got up, beating the standing count, took a standing count, and after that, that's when Belfort swarmed him again. And then Holyfield wasn't, what did they say, intelligently defending himself. Ref.
Oh, I wouldn't consider Evander Holyfield. Nah, I'm not.
Go ahead.
He got the smarts knocked out of him.
Right.
They didn't have that much to begin with.
He thought that it was too hard, right?
I mean, the fact that, he was a champion, the fact that he made a lot of money, the fact that Mike Tyson is now a little bit richer than him.
Yeah, Tyson suffered his troubles too, but he learned, and he was able to, Holyfield doesn't have the personality like Tyson or George Foreman does to be able to mount that comeback late, and that reformation of yourself late in your career or late in your life, once your career is over. He's not the most talkative individual. He's not, that personality, I'm sure he has a wonderful personality to get all these wives, but it doesn't really.
Oh, he had a lot of money.
Right, or that too, that always.
Right. Money brings the women in. A lack of money, has you searching for women.
Right.
Right, literally.
However,
I know
when I'm chasing one, the other one's getting away.
Hey, listen, I'm chasing money. It's all about money for me. Right? Ain't that right, George?
Holyfield looks like he's going to have to find another way to keep them checks coming, though, with that said after this. Our next story we got from TMZ. Rapper Lil Uzi Vert, creator of such hits as
Nothing.
I don't know what this guy's done. Nothing, he said. Which amazes me that he pulled this off. In his forehead is a pink diamond that he says is worth $24 million. He saved up to get it. Had it implanted in his forehead.
Big dummy.
Thank you. And so dumbass made the right decision to go stage diving with that thing in his forehead at the Rolling Loud Festival in Miami.
I would have ripped that joint out.
Exactly what somebody tried to do, too. Somehow he got the diamond back, which is upsetting because his behavior was not, his bad decision was rewarded in that respect.
If I don't get it taken out the right way, I could die.
Right. Then that from a video photo, he posted that in February.
No, seriously.
And he said that he could, you see the blood seeping right, and there's a main vein that runs right through your forehead right there.
Big dummy.
Oh, yeah.
Big dummy. They give these jokers too much money, and they spend it on.
I can bring a lot to dumbass and dumbass. I'm a go-getter. dumbass material all the way.
All the way.
So,
There you go.
Dumbass and dumbass. Like, wow. Like,
Oh yeah.
all the money you could spend on creating a better environment for your neighborhood, right? You know, giving some money to a school district. You could feed with $1 million. A lot of people for a year, right? You could create so many, but you take $24 million and then you get it installed into your head.
And then post a look, everybody, if you want to rob me,
Right.
right here, okay? Just put your hands out and snatch that bad boy on it.
But then the fact that you would think that people would honestly take it seriously, that you could die from snatching out your head, they're coming for that. Like I'm coming for that. Let me get that. You feel me? Like knock you out and snatch it.
I used to think about people when they when I started seeing the gold teeth. I was like, you're making your mouth a target.
Well, that's different. Gold teeth are different.
Okay, and they're not as easily snatched as that.
Right.
The good news is Lil Uzi didn't suffer any serious injuries, but yeah, certainly would have deserved. The bad news is he got that diamond back. Bad news, because he certainly would have deserved it if he lost it. But you're going to have a hard time fencing a pink diamond after that, I'd imagine, especially once he...
Just give me $2 million.
Right, there we go. How
It's
about
worth
that?
24. Just give me 2. I don't need the whole thing. Give me 7.
Oh, my goodness. That takes us on to our next story. The R. Kelly trial in Brooklyn for racketeering and sex trafficking continued this week. It was revealed that Kelly had his victims write letters with false information. This was last week, excuse me. With false information that was damaging for them. So, for instance, a lot of abusers use this technique. They use it as collateral. So, a woman took the stand under the pseudonym Jane, and she said that during her 5-year relationship with the singer, he directed her and his other girlfriends to write 4 or 5 letters a year. Said Jane, he said that these were basically letters that were never going to see the light of day, and they were basically to exploit us and protect him. In one letter, at which Jane read under cross-examination from Kelly's attorneys, she said to a letter to her brother, quote, "If he knew that I am 17, he wouldn't even mess with me." No, ain't nobody buying that. Don't worry, girl. Nobody was buying that. And Jane stated that about once a year, Kelly would have the group gather together to write letters.
Why can't they just give him 10 years and let him start his time?
Right. Well, I'm sure this is time served right now. Right. But, you usually get that credit.
So what? Get it over with, man. Because this is
Because he's definitely going,
going down.
It's just a spectacle now at this point. He wanted us to include a letter saying that we stole money from him and that we had stolen watches from him and that we had been molested by family members, neglected and abused as well. One girlfriend was in charge of proofreading the letters to make sure that they weren't too similar. Jehonda Pace took the stand on August 18th and testified that Kelly sexually abused her when she was 16 and that he had her write a letter saying that she had stolen $100,000 in jewelry from him.
So she had to pay.
Right. Last week we reported on a witness named Lewis that we've learned. Lewis testified that Kelly sexually abused him after meeting him at a McDonald's drive-thru window when he was a 17-year-old senior.
Now he's gay.
Right. Or I guess he got bored. Or maybe he was bored, because he's getting away with it so much with the world, trying something new. Excuse me. The singer, he testified that he and the singer remained friends until they were in 2018. Kelly asked Lewis to write a letter claiming that people had approached him and were trying to pay him to claim that Kelly. So Kelly asked Lewis to write a letter saying that people are paying you to say that you and I are having an affair. It's kind of ironic, though, that this my man with all this writing, when he's described by his attorneys as illiterate, and he's having people doing all this writing. Kind of ironic, but sad. This whole thing, like we said, kind of a spectacle. Speaking of sad exhibitions, I'm developing this kind of a sick obsession with Deontay Wilder. and he, huh?
Okay, good.
Oh, sorry. And so he's got the August 9th fight coming up with Tyson Fury. And he's been, like, some of these posts, but anyway, we've made fun of him at least twice over the show over the past few months. Most recently with the sad bench press video where he had the 2 spotters on each side. And then he recorded and posted it too. Like, if you would think that he would have been like, oh no, we're just going to delete that one. But he posted it, like, and so that's the same thing you got here with this. Go ahead and roll it, P.
Tonight, I'll be eating lobster ravioli with shaved truffle. Yes.
You look amazing.
No, you look amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is that what he? Oh my goodness. That's his. That's. I guess. How's he training? Like, how was that post a bull? Like, what are you doing? Is that enjoyable? Like, just. I mean, he's ripped. I give the brother that, but I don't know what he's trying out right there.
So hold on. Time
Yes.
What is he wearing?
Oh no. Oh, did it? Is that the wrong? Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. That's not. There's a guy in the ocean. Guy standing in the water. Did we roll the wrong video?
Yeah, because going through the order that you had.
Oh, shucky ducky quack quack.
That's what you do. Right.
And as you can see from me still trying to get to know these Apple devices, the video came out sideways too. There's at least one more that's just like that. But here's Wilder showing off his moves. I can't imagine the point of this though.
He just wants a video. B-roll.
Content, I guess.
Where he at? He in Florida?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You good.
Right. Oh, you know what? That's why. Oh, speaking of, I stated earlier that the Nas X, do we have little Nas X? He stated that his music is like his child, and I got to give it to him with this photo and the video of him lap dancing the devil, etc. It's like he's trolling the general public and whatnot. Reminds me of this guy I used to wait tables with when we used to wait tables down at this tourist trap in Center City called, but we used to have to wear these colonial gear, right? And so Mike would walk up to the table, and if he could sense these tourists if he could even get a hint of homophobia, that's when he would go, flame on, and then he would just put it on. That's what it seems to me like Nas X does in this, with these photos like so. And he's also got the video that we rolled just right there, so he's keeping those checks coming in the Uber Ads Eat campaign with Elton John, so I ain't mad at him there.
Tonight, I'll be eating lobster ravioli with shaved truffle. Yes.
You look amazing.
No, you look amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I can't do it
You're
too well
welcome.
with that. Unless I have a mouse and a cursor.
Can't do it
with the fingers, no, I can get it right. I'm just still like a second short each time. Like, and I see it, and then I know it's going to take me another 10 minutes to get even that close again because I'm going to mess that up. I'm going to mess my edit point up from where I just was, which is going to take me another 3 minutes to get it back to that place. So I just leave it right there and move on with my life. Oh,
Hey, Dante, how you feeling?
Oh, there we go. You guys can throw shade at one another for a moment. How are you doing, Dante? Oh, but anyway, that brings us, speaking of gay characters that are dear to our hearts, this week we lost another star. Well, star that's close to our heart.
Check it out. Here it comes.
Something ain't right, yo.
Watch out, man. Here come that fool. It's attacking. Here he comes.
Yo, son, come on. Yo, Omar's coming, man.
Michael K. Williams, who played multiple roles on TV and the movies, but of course is best known for playing his role of Omar Little on The Wire, was found in his New York penthouse apartment Friday. And it's believed that his death was a result of a heroin overdose. Drug paraphernalia was found all throughout in the apartment. There was one role, he gave us lots of credit for the role as Omar, but there was one role that he played in this movie, The Road. It's based on the book by Cormac McCarthy, and that role is only like 2 minutes, but he played it with his face and his voice so powerfully. Road is a post-apocalyptic film, so there you go. But the way Williams, he showed his range from Omar to what he showed in that simple 2 minutes. So it's a shame, but rest in peace. He said that he had an interview, and he had said a few months ago, he said that he was surprised that he wasn't dead already based on his behavior in the past. But sad to say. So that damn heroin, though, man.
It's that fentanyl. It ain't the heroin.
Yeah. Actually, there was 4 comedians recently that overdosed. Died.
Cocaine.
Yeah,
Right.
they thought, but I'm sure it was laced with that stuff.
Laced with fentanyl.
Right, you can't even trust the booger sugar nowadays.
Nah.
You want a line? No, I'm good, man.
I'm gonna want to knock you out.
I'm just gonna chug 5 monsters, get the same effect.
Oh man, I'm not doing anything.
Right, that stuff makes your heart go like that. No, which also cocaine does. That's the first time when I first had an energy drink and I felt that feeling. I was like, ooh, no, no, sir. But that brings us on to what I've been reading and what I've been watching. Didn't watch anything, but I have read The Subtle Art of Not Giving It, which changes to fart. But The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fart by Mark Manson. And what happened was the title caught my eye, and as I read the intro and the chapter 1, got halfway through chapter 1, I was like, whoa, this is a self-help book, which I usually try and tear up. But again, back to the title caught my eye, so I stuck it out for a moment. And it actually was one of the more self-helpful self-help books that I've ever come across. He talks about, it's a counterintuitive approach. And so he talks about sticking with your values, but at the same time recognizing how, for instance, you're in a traffic jam, somebody cuts you off, you get mad at that person that cut you off, and then you're mad at yourself for being mad about that in the first place, and so it just becomes this cycle of beating yourself up. Manson did a good job with his humor, and as you might imagine with the title, it's quite profane. And the stories that he utilizes in the book as examples, I actually give it 3.5 train tickets out of 4. So I actually would recommend it if you got the time to read it. I heard it on audiobook, by the way. Excuse me. And that brings us on to, where's SEPTA? I'll find it. Give me a moment. CMP Radio is the station. Don't forget, if you miss the D Train with Darren DeVoue, you can check out the content on the cmpradio.net YouTube or Facebook page. And if you haven't liked, I'm sure you liked, because if you're spending your Sunday morning right here with us on the D Train, then you got to make sure to subscribe and tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend.
That is them again.
Who's them again? Oh no, this moves us on to SEPTA. Okay. SEPTA wants to change the name of the city's subways, trolleys, and light rail networks to the Metro. They also want to change the way commuters have spelled out the L from EL, how most locals in Philly pronounce it, to just actually the singular letter L. They also wanted to change the name of their subways and trolleys. They also want to change the current signage. So, there we go. SEPTA is hoping to do this potential rollout by 2022 or maybe 2023. So there's that. It's the change is meant to make it easier for. They're hoping that the changes will make it easier to navigate for visiting people and those who do not speak English.
Ain't nobody catching the L.
Well, downtown,
no visitors.
Actually, though, they do. There is a tour that offer. From what I could tell, when I was catching the L and I was living right off of 52nd Street, it would get regular business on the weekends because they do this tour. The Philadelphia Mural Arts Project. They did a series of murals along buildings that you can read as you're riding the L, and so that's a tour for tourists.
What kind of tourists is taking that tour?
Actually, it's very historically known tourist, P, because Philadelphia has the largest collection of what in the world?
Dicks.
Damn, no. It's only the 6th largest city, so I'm going to say no in that regard.
They say dickhead all the time.
They do. They greet each other with that. What's up, dickhead? What is that?
So?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, actually, largest collection of outdoor murals. So
a lot of graffiti. You call them murals.
Well, and they're counting the murals, not actual graffiti. So the graffiti, there's a lot of good graffiti out there too. Especially if you ride down in north. You're coming south.
Guess what?
No,
nah,
you're not going.
No.
Oh, you're not a b-boy.
No.
You don't like that.
No.
You wasn't coming up during the. You wasn't feeling the graffiti
I caught
during breaking and all that.
I caught the L to Coca-Cola from Chester, right?
Up in North Philly?
Yeah.
Okay.
I worked there, I want to say, for about 2 months.
Okay.
And then it was like, all right, that's enough.
Well, that's a long commute, too.
Long-ass
Woo,
commute.
boy. I can understand why you're a little jaded against public transportation after that, right?
After that, it was like no more public transportation for me. And that was fresh. I was fresh out of high school. I was fresh out of high school. And it was like, I'm good.
Yeah, man. Because you'd have to catch, man, you got to catch the L.
Right.
It's a journey from Chester to the L.
So
Chester to 69th Street.
R2 to 69th Street. No,
he took the R2 into town.
R2 into the town, and then caught the L from there.
Okay,
Man.
but still. And you're catching a regional rail, so that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The day I quit, it rained. So, in North Philly, there are a lot of deeper than you would think puddles.
Okay.
By the streets, and this was about 20 some years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, about 24 years ago.
Oh yeah, I know. Man. But big old potholes that
big
are
old potholes,
waiting
bro.
for you to just step in, to drown in it.
I thought I was waist deep in this shit. I turned right around, got on the L. I didn't even call him and tell him I quit.
That's it. I'm done.
I'm done. We go sell this coat.
Oh my goodness.
Like literally, nah, I tried.
Oh goodness.
Mama, I tried.
That moves us on to the Made in America Festival was last weekend. After Philadelphia area recovered from historical flooding. It didn't take place last year because of COVID-19 restrictions. Thousands showed up, but they had to be masked, or because Philly has a mask mandate in place for unseated events over 1,000 people. Festival goers also had to show either their vaccine cards or a negative test at the gate. 676, also known as the Vine Street Expressway, which is flooded and crowded with debris and cleared. It was cleared and reopened by last Saturday night. The festival concluded last Sunday. Oh, this story is a good one. I'm sure people will love it. And it comes to us from the Daily Voice. What you're looking at is 20-year-old Michael White. And we'll talk about why he's got that bandage on his forehead in a moment. But what happened was officers were in the process of arresting White for stealing $200 from his employer, which is at Turkey Hill in Coatesville, where he works. White told police he will return with the money along with $3,000 that he had also stolen from the safe in his house. The cops agreed to let him go and retrieve the money. He started, and then he shook hands with the cops. He shook hands with the cop, Officer William Cahill, then shoved Cahill and stabbed him multiple times in the head, face, and with a fixed curved blade. As you imagine, he was immediately arrested, and I'm sure that's where he picked up these bandages. See, we're about to give you some final white privilege, but then you're going to go ahead and act like that. Now we're going to treat you like you're black. So they probably put that ass whipping on him. He's going to be, I don't have his list of charges here, but, excuse me. He's held in Chester County Prison without bail, and his preliminary hearing is set for this Wednesday. This next story comes to us from the Daily Voice. I've yet to experience a bad experience. I've yet to have a bad experience with Uber. There have been a few rides where it's been a little scary, like, whoa, dude, I appreciate that when I called you, I was going to be a half hour late, but now I'm about to arrive on time. Can we slow it a little bit down here? Trying to break the sound barrier. This is 23-year-old Amir Garvey and 19-year-old Joanna Bell. And they had a bad Uber ride early last Sunday morning at the Red Carpet Inn Motel in Elmwood Park, New Jersey. They got in the Uber smoking and not wearing a mask. Garvey was not wearing a mask. The driver told them there was no smoking in the vehicle. And by the way, I should preface, before I say the next events, I should preface that Garvey is on parole from this February after serving 3.5 years for armed robbery and other offenses. The driver asked Garvey at least 5 times to put a mask on, or he would cancel the ride. And that's when Garvey determined that he wasn't going to be inconvenienced by following rules and safety protocols, told the driver that he would effing punch him in the face, he would effing punch him if he canceled the ride. The dispute pulled on for a second. They pulled into a liquor store, and after Garvey said that, they pulled into a liquor store parking lot. Well, it just happened to be a liquor store, I would imagine. The driver canceled the ride, and that's when Garvey followed through on his promise to punch the driver. So then the driver reaches in a side door compartment and proceeds to pepper spray Garvey. That's when everybody gets out of the car. So there, Garvey goes after the driver, gets down. The driver pepper sprays Garvey again and able to get some distance between him and he and Garvey. That's when Garvey started shouting to Bell, "Take the car, take the car." So Bell starts to jump into the driver's seat, and the driver caught up to her and maced her ass in the face too. They were picked up shortly afterwards by police and they were picked up shortly afterwards in the parking lot of the liquor store, complaining of facial irritation. As you might imagine, the driver was taken to the local hospital, and he's fine. Pete, this story might hit a little close to home to you. Did you hear about the cyber attack that took place at Howard University, where your daughter is a student, right?
My daughter don't go to no Howard University.
The one that just graduated, no?
She goes to Lincoln.
Lincoln. I got my historical black universities confused.
You do.
They all look alike. She took offense with that one?
Yeah, she got mad. Tell him that.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, Howard University suffered a cyber attack over the course of this past month. They said that no students' information was extradited from their system, and they've been able to resume. They can't, like, graduate hybrid classes weren't being held in person, and now that they have this under control. They're going to start classes in person again. It's not immediate. The details of the attack weren't clear, but cyber schools are becoming that trend's been picking up lately. Schools have been a target for cyber attacks. You can get a lot of information at once off of that. And so you might want to, like, cybersecurity is a new thing. Can I tell you about what happened to me recently? I checked my spam folder, and I was looking for an email from a business. And so I was scrolling through this email, and then I see an old password, like that I used years ago. I see this password, which gets my attention, like, wait a second, why is this in the subject line? I click on it, and there's some scumbag. I proceed to read this message from some scumbag that's telling me, he tells this whole elongated process of how he was able to get the two-way switch on my, and access my camera, which is why don't forget to tape the cameras on your laptops, folks. I'm about to tape one on my phone after this idiot. But then he told me that if I gave him $2,000 in Bitcoin, he was going to publish this video of me. Oh, he also referenced that I was watching porn. Maybe. So he said he was going to publish this video of me unless I gave him $2,000. And I sat back and thought about it, and I was like, man, shoot. Ray J and Kim Kardashian, they have no talent. They've proven sex tapes can make a career. So I'm like, go ahead, my friend. But I could tell you ain't getting 2G.
What all were you doing? Masturbate, like.
That's what he didn't specify what I was doing. That's another thing that, like, is this just a random pro form? Somehow he gets access to a website. I think he got access to, like, maybe even a university, because that was an old password that I used around the time I was taking classes at Cabrini. So I'm thinking somewhere, like, and especially after reading the story about Howard, he may have somehow accessed that system, used the old, just put the old password in the subject line, which is, of course, like a bing, bing, get your attention right there. And then, of course, there's this long, just because he didn't specifically reference anything. It was very vague. He didn't say you had on this, or, you know, this is in your background. Something that said that it was actually me that he was watching, which led me to believe that he wasn't watching me, which led me to be disappointed that there's not going to be a sex tape released of me and I will not get the publicity. There's no such thing as bad publicity, as they say. But anyway, that takes us on to our next story. This gentleman here is 26-year-old Justin Muncie, and he is in the back seat of a police vehicle because,
bro.
Huh?
You have so many pictures. You have Clinton Portis. You got a white dude.
Oh, wait. Maybe I don't have, maybe I went out of order from my list. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Howard cyber attack. Yes, Clinton Portis. Clinton Portis is one of 3 NFL players being charged with fraud. So I forget all his nicknames. He had so many. You say I have so many pictures. Clinton Portis has so many nicknames, but he is loving up his daughter. Clinton Portis is looking at charges over that. So that amazes me that a lot of former NFL players that turn to crime. But then again, he went to Miami. So
Okay.
So there you go. No?
I mean, you said it, not me.
No, well, Miami was, I mean, there was all kinds of behavior that these guys were getting away with. So what I might consider criminal behavior, he might not even think that it is. It might just be something you can do to Clinton Portis. I don't know. But, that moves us on to D.A. Mark. He said a whole bunch of white dudes. This guy here is the Muskogee County DA, and his name is.
I guess.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. No. You're right. Hold on. Let me keep my list. Hold on. I know.
No, seriously.
Mark Jones. Yeah, Mark Jones arrest. So it should be just one guy by himself. Face shot, mug shot, Mark Jones. Not that you know his name.
Him?
Yes, that's the guy. He's a former DA in Muskogee County, Georgia. He just got the job in February, and he's already being charged with bribery. Oh, goodness. He is looking at, here we go. He's under indictment right now, but he took leave. So he's taking an extended personal leave from the job. He's getting charged with, emergency leave, and he'll be taking emergency leave the 8th of this month through October 11th. And like I said, he took office on January 1st. It didn't take him long to start getting his hands dirty, huh? The indictment accuses Jones of the following criminal acts in his first 9 months in office: 2 counts of influencing witness, 2 counts of bribery, 2 counts of violation of public oath, 2 counts of violation of oath, 1 count of attempted subordination of perjury. Jones could not be reached for comment. His attorney responded that, and his attorney didn't respond. He's released from bail on $10,000 this Tuesday after 4 hours in jail. The question now is who's running the DA's office. But unfortunately, his assistant DA is out on maternity leave. So if you want to talk your charges, now is probably the time to start negotiating about your charges. If you got business in, if you got that kind of business in Muskogee County, Georgia. That brings us on to, that's where my man accused of stealing my man sitting in the back of the patrol car. And that is 26-year-old Justin Muncie. Justin Muncie, we've talked about it before in the show with the whole Cadillac converter thing. Like there's precious metals in there that the value is spiked, and so the number of thefts has gone up significantly. And so Muncie decided to steal some Cadillac converters. Would you like to know where, folks? From the impound lot of the Columbus Police Department. So I kind of get where, again, like we talked about with having P try to Mad Greek, my thought was there, but my execution was off. Yeah, same thing here. Because he probably was thinking he could get a lot of converters all at once. They say all you need is a snip tool or a saw to get them. So he tried, but again, maybe he figured that he could fly under the radar because no one would dare try it, like Neo in The Matrix. Neo, this has never been tried before. That's why it's going to work. So actually, Mr. Muncie is going to be, he's charged with breaking and entering, possession of criminal tools, resisting arrest, according to the Columbus Police Department. We don't know when his trial will be, but got to enter him in. I'm working on a piece, P. I'm working on a little, like I had that little football intro. I'm working on a piece where I make one for, remember, because our first episode, we talked about this child. He was about 8 years old or somewhere under 11, and he took his parents' car, and P said, "That's my hero." So I'm still working on it, but little segment called P's Weekly Hero. We'll get that down. But Pete, that's not your weekly hero? No, he wouldn't be. No. And our next story, did you know there was a town called Sandwich, Ohio? Sandwich, Massachusetts. And who did? No, yeah, delicious. It sounds delicious.
Turkey sandwich?
Yeah, right. That's probably the different neighborhoods in that place too.
Oh. Got a corned beef sandwich?
Right.
Making me hungry.
This gentleman, a gentleman in Sandwich, Massachusetts.
Now I'm lost.
Oh, shit.
I have a car accident with police.
Oh, yeah, there we go. We're going there. We're getting there. All right. Gentleman in Sandwich, Massachusetts. Now, what he did was, what you're seeing, there's a boat in the middle of the street. You might wonder how that boat got there. So my man in Sandwich, Massachusetts, he rigs the boat up on the trailer. He's driving down the street. The boat comes loose from the trailer, or the trailer comes from under the boat. Gentleman still continued to drive down the road. Cop pulled him over and charged him with reckless driving, among other offenses. Actually, so that takes us to our next story. And Pete, we all remember the Miami condo collapses that have happened recently.
And used to buy luxury items. These three people accused of targeting victims of the Surfside condo collapse. This morning we have brand new video of two of them walking into jail.
This one is a little heinous. Go ahead, Pete.
34-year-old Kimberly Michelle Johnson and 38-year-old Rodney Shote walking into jail overnight.
Cyber grave robbers did move very quickly after the collapse to grab what they could from deceased victims.
Johnson, Shote, and 30-year-old Betsy Alejandro Cacho Medina all arrested after investigators say they stole the identities of several victims of the Champlain Tower South collapse. The group allegedly taking out credit and debit cards in the names of at least 7 Surfside victims, spending thousands of dollars of their money.
Yes, because I was a victim of the towers that just collapsed, the Surfside.
Detectives say that's the voice of Medina on the phone with a credit card company posing as a victim. This, police say, is also her, captured on surveillance video holding a Versace purse she bought with her stolen credit cards and using them to buy even more items. Investigators say the group had the cards sent to a vacant address where they used fake IDs and fake Social Security cards to rent empty apartments just for their mailboxes.
Nothing about.
Okay. Pete, in case you, I want to, because you weren't able to hear audio, were you? Okay, so what these people did, in effect, was victims, they stole the identity of a few people that died in the condo collapse down in Miami.
Okay, that's smart.
And then used those, but then they turned around and used those stolen identities that they got credit cards and et cetera information. They used that the accounts that they created. They then used that stuff. The video you ended, old girl was she got her Versace purse as she's trying to get other items. They just used it for stuff.
That's what we do. What was I supposed to use the ID for?
She used it for just stuff to just look like that's like it's the poor thief's version of Little Uzi's diamond in the forehead. She just I want to look good. I want to be.
I mean, that's the majority of the reason why we steal stuff. I don't know.
How about that? A lot of, yeah.
I don't know anybody that ever stole anybody that's not rich that ever stole anything that doesn't benefit them. That's what we spend our money on, right? On looking good.
Oh my God! But you know what? And that's the fun. You said it was smart, but I'm sure when they heard that the collapse took place, they're like, oh my goodness, Johnny and Samantha live in that building. Let's make sure they are. Johnny, went right to voicemail, which has got me thinking.
They didn't know anybody. Like, no? Literally, no.
You think they just got that information off of? Oh yeah, because you know what? A lot of newspapers we do that all the time. Right. List the victims. So yeah,
you go down there. I'm sure people got walls up. Aunt Bethy, Uncle Rick. You feel me? They passed away. Okay, well, Aunt Beth and Uncle Rick, what was their address? What was their date of birth?
Right. How about that?
Right. I don't know how you got their Social Security numbers.
They got them somehow, right?
But listen, that's a victimless crime. The people are dead.
Yeah, they won't mind.
Like, got your Social Security number. Like, really, seriously, like, who's going to complain?
Oh,
and if you gave me a credit card, that's your fault.
Right. That's actually, you know what? That is true. It was on the folks that y'all need to do your vetting process a little more solidly than that.
Why are we talking about prophylactics?
Oh, you know what stealthing is?
Stealthing?
Yes.
If it has anything to do with condoms, no.
No? Okay. So what happens is stealthing, and that's apparently is I didn't know it was a practice, but once it's on, it stays on until the moment's over. I never wanted one of those that P is holding. This thing is over. No, she's cussing me out again.
So when you die, that's it.
You're right. No, that's what I got nieces and nephews and
nothing from you.
Oh no.
Yeah, when you die, it's over for you.
No,
your lineage.
That's it.
I'm sure.
What lineage?
What you mean?
There's plenty of other DeVoes out there.
No,
my
I'm talking about
nephews.
from you.
Oh, I'm good. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
From you, from your mother and your father. Like,
Well, my father, again, I have 2 brothers who have produced multiple kids.
again, it's
Actually 3. So, and they all have 2 kids, at least 2 kids. So
not
there you
yours.
go. Yeah. And you
your
say
mother
I'm
would
selfish.
love grandkids.
And you
are
say I'm selfish.
You are. I'm sure your mother would love grandkids.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Right,
yeah,
and you ain't giving her none.
All right, let me go shopping and go get one from an orphanage somewhere.
Ain't no orphanage. It has to
Give
come
her a
from
little
you.
photo op for her, man.
Oh, that's
Take some
sad.
pictures.
That's sad. That's your only job, bro. That's what you was put here for.
Genetically, yes.
Nothing else.
But
Nothing
not
else.
psychologically, no.
Nothing else. You can't stand kids.
No, I love them. Like, you
Yeah.
see me as soon as I
You
lay
came here
eyes on that
yesterday.
one, I come in.
You came here yesterday and the kids was here. You roll right
Oh,
up.
now there was 3 of them, and they were all of age where they're talking and asking questions. I was automatically overwhelmed just looking at them. They didn't even notice me yet, and I just was like, tiptoe right out.
Walk right out of this junk, right? So I understand. You don't like children. That's okay.
I do.
No, you don't.
I enjoy the
fake.
presence. I think
That's
that's
fake.
hilarious. Oh, that hurts.
You don't want to take you home.
Oh no. Well, I love, and you know what? I love kids, and I love kids.
Right, say something.
And I especially love giving them back to their parents. Watch me. I've never held Jordan because of our restrictions and whatnot. But if I ever held Jordan, I'd be like, we'd have the sweetest minute or 2 ever.
Minute or 2.
Right before. That's enough. Then keep it moving. Oh, back to stealthing.
Right.
Stealthing is the practice of removing the condom and not letting the person that you're with know. Now, that could be done by male or female, by the way. So it can go both ways, automatic. But I think if you're the male, you're more likely to catch it unless that alcohol, blame it on the... Anyway, California is making moves to outlaw that. So you could face criminal charges for stealthing. If someone decides to press charges, well, if someone press charges on you, especially if pregnancy or disease communication is the result of that. So there's that. Oh,
if pregnancy or disease is the result from stealthing, like as a man, what how do you feel if a woman takes your condom off and gets pregnant?
If she takes it off,
yeah.
Well, I'm trying to pretend that she could do it, and I still get her pregnant. Hold on, I can do it. Okay. Then, yeah, you can't take me to court over this child support or all that. I didn't want this. I didn't ask for that. I tried to take measures to prevent such a thing.
Oh no, you're going to child support.
Yeah, they're still going to hit, especially a female judge.
Any kind of judge.
Yeah, oh, for real?
Yeah.
Ain't that some sugar honey iced tea?
Tell him, Jordan, so you gonna pay.
We'll have to do some follow-up about that and find out, because that sounds a little unfair.
That's why California is taking the steps to do everything they need to do about the stealthing, because there's so many people out in California that probably have money that have been stealthed.
Oh, yeah. Actually, you know what, though? What they also need to include in there is, because I know dudes that have done this, poked holes with needles in the condom packaging, so that way when they put when the moment happens, that some still spills through the condom and impregnates the woman, which I thought was just heinous. The one dude bragged about it. I wanted to punch his face through the wall. Oh my God. Because, I mean, as bad as that would be, because the situation that you just used as an example, P, if a woman stealthed me, I think that's even worse if a guy does it, because she's got to go through the pregnancy. Oh. Uh-oh. What's my next story? Our next story, 78-year-old a man in Oklahoma shot his 78-year-old mother.
Nah, this is a different country.
Oh, shoot, different country. Oh, my bad. Did we miss him? All right, so no, different country. My man, he got 5 years, this guy. He got 5 years in jail for spreading the coronavirus. They take that, they take it seriously out there, bro.
Oh, you spreading coronavirus?
Yeah, oh, that's right. I missed the, I didn't get that picture. I missed it when I was loading the pictures. But yeah, so unfortunately for him, he's looking at 5 years, and like we said, I mentioned it before, jails in this country, they're country clubs compared to them jails in other countries. So I can imagine that's going to be a pretty rough 5 years after he. Now, this story comes to us from The Guardian, by the way, but excuse me, what I can't remember from. Oh, yeah, he was in court for, he broke strict COVID quarantine rules. That's what happened, and spread the virus to others, state media reported. He's 28-year-old Levon Tree, and he was convicted of spreading dangerous infectious diseases. Trial only took 1 day. He was convicted this past Monday at the People's Court of the Southern Province of Khao Mai. It's the state-run, I got this from the state-run news Vietnamese agency by way of The Guardian. Tung traveled back to Khao Mai from Ho Chi Minh City and breached the 21-day quarantine regulations. Tung infected 8 people, one of whom died due to the virus after 1 month of treatment. So he might even be getting off a little easy when you think about it. You killed someone there. Oh, and more on how the coronavirus kills in the next block. And now that brings us to the end of our first. Oh, we don't have far to go, P. That brings us to the end of our first block, and which is brought to you in part, as always, by the Mad Greek, located at 2805 Chichester Avenue in Boothwyn. The Mad Greek is the place to get fresh and delicious, in that order, the authentic American street food and authentic Mediterranean street food. American and Mediterranean street food. Call them at 610-494-0400. Open Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday, noon to 8, and Sunday, noon to 7. The Mad Greek serves delicious falafels, gyros, the eggplant fries. I know that's if you like to eat green things, unlike my man here. But
I like what man here?
You eat veggies?
Why wouldn't I eat veggies, bro?
All right.
Like, what would be the reason behind me not eating veggies?
I know a lot of guys that pretty much refuse to eat anything green, and you have a lot in common with them. So I kind of stereotyped you. I apologize, P.
Nah, I don't have a problem with what's that shit? What's some long drinks called? What's some long drinks called?
Eggplant fries?
No, I ain't talking about the Mad Greek.
Well,
It's almost like broccoli.
Asparagus.
Couldn't
even. I ain't got a problem with
that. Right, I love asparagus.
That ought to show you how often he eats it.
Nah, I eat it whenever I go out.
Okay.
I mean, like, how often does people, like, what restaurant locally around here serves asparagus? Does the Mad Greek serve asparagus?
Don't know. Probably.
Absolutely.
Actually, hold on. Y'all look it up for us real quick.
Oh, no, we're not looking nothing up.
No?
Right. If you don't know off the top of your head, they don't serve it.
Right. Okay. But they do fried Brussels sprouts. Now, actually, I love vegetables, and I don't even.
I don't fuck with Brussels sprouts.
But it's like, and actually, the closest I've ever had, steamed Brussels sprouts, disgusting. Fried Brussels sprouts, they actually, for Brussels sprouts, they weren't bad. But then again, everything's better once it comes out of the fryer.
Right, and that just makes it unhealthy.
And the unhealthiness is that what do you call it? That taboo, I guess. Don't forget, you can get the Mad Greek off Uber Eats, Grubhub, and DoorDash. And when you get there, tell them you rode the D train to get there. The Mad Greek, always fresh, always delicious. And in our second block, we're going to be discussing proper gun storage, as well as scary pizza dough and killer kayaks, by the way. Oh, we talked about wrong surgeries. Oh, we got another one of those. That's scary how often this happens. But anyway, you're on the D Train with Darren DeVoue on the station, cmpradio.net, the voice of Chester.
Rumble, rumble, rattle, rattle,
level attitude, heart of the Italian stallion.
We are not going to intentionally destroy one of our own trains, not when we can still stop it.
We are not ramping down. We're just getting started. Nothing stops this train. Nothing.
Attitude, heart of the Italian stallion.
Brazilian president Jair Bolsonaro, he's recovering in the hospital from complications.
Gonorrhea?
No, he got stabbed in 2018, and so he has an obstructed intestine from that near fatal stabbing back in 2018, and now he's had the hiccups for the past 10 days, so he was back in the hospital. And that was after having COVID for a while, so he suffered through that too.
He's trying to die.
Right. He just looking death in the face, like,
I'm not scared of you,
right.
death.
And he's 66, so they. right. Can you imagine for 10 days straight? I know for 10 minutes straight.
It's annoying.
Right. Like
hold your breath.
The involuntary.
Something to hold his breath.
Right. Or somebody scared the hell out of him.
He probably tried all that.
Right.
Scared the hell out of me.
Oh,
kidnap me in the middle of the night. See if I can get rid of my hiccup.
What happens if the engine stops? We all freeze and die. But will it stop or will it stop? No, no!
It's the D Train with Darren DeVoue.
Oh, I love that one. Such a tonic.
Welcome back. You're aboard the D Train with Darren DeVoue on CMPRadio.net. Brought to you in part by the Browning Group. The Browning Group is a full-service security and process serving firm that offers a variety of services throughout the state of Pennsylvania. They're fully bonded, licensed, and they cater to insurance companies, attorneys, private businesses, and individuals, specializing in process serving and security services. You can reach the Browning Group at 1-800-939-2978 or go to the BrowningGroupLLC.com. And when you get there, tell them you rode the D train there. We talked about, we previewed scary pizza dough, etc. So, actually, I lost my spot again, easily distracted. I need an assistant. I'm going to get one. That's what I need a kid for. That's what I could use one for. I'll go down to the orphanage. Let's see. I'll be interviewing kids at the orphanage. Tell me about your computer skills. Are you good with promoting on social media? I need help. How can you? Are you good with photography? What's the right amount of lighting that you need? Oh, they'll throw me out. They'll throw me right on out. Deservedly. We heard about, in our first story of the second block, you heard about a lot of people that, we talked about a guy that went down and busted for the January 6th riots at the Capitol. Now this here is Proud Boys chair Enrique Tarrio, and he's about to turn himself in for events in D.C. He's going to serve a 5-month sentence he's going to serve a 5-month sentence for burning a Black Lives Matter flag and possessing 2 high-capacity firearms just ahead of the January 6th riots. Hours before beginning his prison sentence, Tarrio posted a lengthy message, of course, where he's playing the, woe for me, and then along with a link to a donation website called the Tarrio Support Fund, or as he probably didn't go with the original name, Tarrio Commissary Fund. This story comes to us from WUSA, by the way. Eric Flack retweeted in his statement that the far-right leader said he feels at peace with going to prison and directed a message toward his followers to keep protesting. Tarrio spent his final days before being jailed with his family and friends in the East Coast, as well as digitally panhandling. Proud Boys leader was arrested in the nation's capital on January 4th, 2 days before the riot, in an attempt to stop the certification. At the time, he was found with, again, 2 high-capacity magazines, and they had the Proud Boys logo on the magazine. And cops had ordered him to stay away from D.C. as far as possible to prevent violence. And that's when he was somehow spotted. Authorities also said Tarrio stole the Black Lives Matter flag from the Asbury United Methodist Church on December 12th and then set it ablaze with lighter fluid. He told the Washington Post that he didn't regret burning the banner because he felt that Black Lives Matter terrorized the citizens of this country. Reverend Dr. Lanther Mills, a senior pastor of the church, told the judge during Tarrio's hearing last month that it was an act of intimidation and racism. So, Tarrio, again, he's going to be serving 5 months. I think that's funny, though, that he's just like, right before he turns, and by the way, he's looking very, very studly. Like, that is some American studliness right there with the dad bod. But how can you put yourself in position where you basically dare them to put you in jail and then say, hey, I don't know, that's like it's like somehow asking your mom, there's some kind of improper loan from your parents that reminds me.
Repeat that question again.
Like, okay, so he's gonna put himself in a position where he's daring the authorities because he got found. He wasn't initially arrested. He was told to stay away from D.C. because he was caught with the 2 magazines. Then he got caught going into D.C., which pretty much dares the authorities to. He's already being. Then they're like, oh, you know what? That reminds us, you did burn a Black Lives Matter flag. So right now he's put himself in this position, and then he's going to still turn around and say, hey, general public, or I'm sorry, hey, brothers and sisters in the movement, give me a little cash real quick before I go in.
I mean, why wouldn't he send him a little cash?
Why wouldn't? Because they do it. They do it all the time too. Like, yeah,
5 months ain't nothing.
And that's what he don't need the cash. I remember when
that's a hate crime. What he did was a hate crime.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I had a coworker actually that went to jail once, and the woman that he was having an affair with, this is so funny. She walked around. She had told me on Monday that she was going to come around Wednesday taking donations for this former coworker's commissary. And then I just, like, as soon as she said, I was like, I gave her a nice little polite smile, and I was like, I'm not the one banging them. You please. So she could throw it all in the car and say, I gave you this money. Right. And he wouldn't find out until afterwards anyway. No. Needless to say, she ain't getting nothing. And that's the same thing. I was like, he all right. It's the same thing they should be saying to my man here, Mr. Tarrio. We talked about Larry Krasner and his progressive measures, not stopping, I
got a group of men. Right, the police?
Yeah. All right. So, actually, before that, leave that picture. Because LAPD, did you know that LAPD has been collecting folks' social media profiles and then using those to label them as gangs? So even say I have a picture of a bunch of fraternity brothers, and we're all throwing up the hand gesture. And I'm sure that if you wanted to, you could easily say, like, he's in a gang. So what cops would do is pull folks over. They take this information off of social media, and then they use it to construe the person as a gang member for conviction. So they're going to stop. The memo said, this actually just got revealed. They actually want to do it to they were doing it to every civilian that they stopped. So now I wonder if they're going to keep that practice up. Well, I doubt they'll go through the trouble of saying that they're going to stop it. But that moves us on to our next story. We talked about Larry Krasner, progressive DA, and there are progressive DAs popping up all over with their practices of not seeking mass incarceration or not feeding the mass incarceration with more arrest and BS. So this DA name is John Choi, and he's a DA in Minneapolis, St. Paul area. And he said because of the events of the Philando Castile moments that he will never forget, he said we're going to, quote, we're not doing this anymore. So they're going to stop the practice of pulling folks over they're going to stop a lot of minor traffic stops, such as the broken tail light that wound up leading to Castile's death. Other violations such as the air freshener off the mirror. You know what I'm talking about, those little technicalities that they use. Because there's been plenty of times I've been pulled over and the cop goes, the cop is like, oh, well, you're driving through a high crime area, or, well, this is a high crime time. And I'm like, yeah. I'm black and nearby is what you mean to say. Anyway, let's get this over with. So they're going to stop those kind of practices. Castile, in honor of Castile, Choi announced Wednesday his office will no longer prosecute felony cases resulting from from minor traffic stops. Castile, his mother said that he was pulled over numerous times for other factors, but basically it all boiled down to black and nearby. But Choi said this deliberate attempt to cut down on what he said is unnecessary stops by police, by people of color that too often spiral into fatal accidents. Troy told the Daily Beast, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to perpetuate these unjust practices that disproportionately impact my community. So there's that. Again, I like the fact that all these progressive DAs are springing up. I was a little more hyped than my co-studio person P was about Larry Krasner. I was having a whole man crush. I do have a whole man crush, but it's heartening to see this. I think it's a symbol of things going in the right direction. No? Move towards the microphone.
You don't see this crazy child?
Oh, yeah, she is. She is. That's these pandemic kids nowadays, man. They're sharp. Look at her. Huh? She's like kids. She's about 3 months ahead of the curve to me. Where her coordination, her eyes. Look how she locks eye contact. Over the past. Her hand-eye coordination. She's reaching for stuff accurately. And at the same time, usually these things come in phases. This kid is trying to do it all at once. You hear her yapping in the background? She's going to be a chatterbox, by the way.
Yeah, she will. But I think with the progressive DAs, these are the things that happen, right? People are tired of seeing young black men killed by police officers over routine traffic stops. People are tired of constantly say their name. So now if you hold the cops responsible or you give them a new order, right, then hopefully change comes from that. We understand that, majority of the rules that plague or archaic rules that have governed over us are racist, right? And they are used to really get us. Right. You know what I mean?
And that's the whole right.
Go out to Aston and it's a different cop pulling over somebody that really ran the light. Not supposedly because your driver's license doesn't have a light on it. Right?
And that's what he said, focus more on reckless driving, speeding, things like that, rather than
the little kitty cat things and
Mickey Mouse charges, right.
Then you ain't gotta worry about risking your life. right? Because if you were really worried, if safety was really the problem, right, and they always use it, I had no other choice.
Right.
I was
feared
scared.
for my
I
life.
feared for my life. And my question is, why did you become a cop?
Mm-hmm. You
don't-
signed up for this.
You signed up.
This
for
is what
right?
you went in.
But
for.
also, it's like, you know, if we continue to come to this same point where we are right now, nothing ever changes. We can sit there and say, you know, black people don't follow the rules, or black people are just, but this is the system that they have us under, and this is the system that where we learn how to survive through.
And that's the thing too, because then right immediately people that oppose such practices, you see it with the police union in Philly, and you see it with people that just are or have an opposite or don't want these changes to go through. The first thing they say is it's going to lead to crime. But those statistics help. The way they use statistics help them feel better anyway, because you know, when you say mass arrests are up, that does not mean that crime is arrests are up. Doesn't necessarily bring crime down, and because a lot of these arrests are, like P said, Mickey Mouse charges. But this charge here, in our next story, this guy, an Arizona school principal, this is the this is the COVID portion of the show. An Arizona principal. Now you've seen all the footage lately with these school board meetings.
Hold on, time out. I got a car. That's a different story.
No, that was pretty much what we were just talking about too. Yeah.
This time last year, my grandmother, who was a former teacher at the Rutherford County School System, died of COVID because someone wasn't wearing a mask. This is a very
it's a young man's thing. Yeah.
This is a
Hey guys, we're here to act professional.
We can't? There's no audio? Oh, okay. Yeah, well, he's at a school board meeting. He's saying how my grandmother died of COVID. Because they're saying that they're debating on masks. He says my grandmother died of COVID. They're taunting him.
They're taunting him?
Shut up. Go there, sit. It's ridiculous. Like,
most of the people that don't want to wear a mask, don't want to follow the rules,
but yet
are of people that have never had any rules to really follow. right. You know, I'm looking at the Republican Party right now, and they're talking about, we're not wearing no masks. I can't breathe with this mask on.
I'm not going to be minorly inconvenienced for the good of everyone else here,
Most
folks.
of the people that are in stores coughing on people, sneezing on people, and all this other stuff, they're of the lighter skin persuasion, right? They lack the melanin.
Right, to understand that you got rules to follow.
To just understand, like, this is for our safety as a group, right? When I walk in the store and I still got a mask, they all looking at me like, why you still got your mask on?
They get.
What do you mean? Like, I've always wanted to wear this mask. When I see people over in China wearing masks, I was like, yo.
And that was just for the smog.
Can I get down? Like,
Right.
no, but it really wasn't. It was for everything.
Oh, yeah.
When you're sick, you should wear a fucking mask. You shouldn't be spreading that shit every day. Oh, it's not 99. Neither is a condom. Or birth control. Nothing is that effective where it wipes out the chance of you catching anything, but we're not going to do that. But, you know, this is
where we at, yeah.
Get out your mouth. Out your mouth.
Oh, so there's a guy actually continuing along with that theme. There's an Arizona school principal saying that she was threatened by a father who sent her a picture of himself standing there with zip ties. Right, P?
Yep.
Okay. Nailed it on the first try.
No more lockdowns, and I do not consent before that. But.
Oh, okay. Oh, before that, damn it. Oh, that was an anti-vaccine paramilitary group, and they disbanded recently. They got outed by a tabloid newspaper that exposed they were about to They were planning an attack. Like, and this is over in England. Yeah, right. But they were planning an attack in England. I just can't process, the whole, like, the minor inconvenience of putting this on, or even that vaccine. Now, wait, I remember, why are vaccines so politicized nowadays? I don't understand, because you come from that age. Remember, beginning of the school year, when you were a little bit older than Jordan, and from that age to what, 6th grade or so, you had the exciting pre-Christmas feeling of going back to school shopping, but you also knew that you had to take the good with the bad, and going with that preschool shopping also meant a stop past the doctor's office where he had at least 3 needles lined up waiting for your ass because you had to take certain shots to go into school. These same people that are making this whole anti-vaccine thing are the same people who had to take shots for certain things to go into, so you could go, right, exactly, kiddo. So you could go to school. I know, it upsets me too. It upsets me too. But yeah, these people are making, like, so what we've done with politicizing, what we've done as a society, I should say, what has been done in our society with the politicizing of public health, it just amazes me. And in this story, my man with the zip ties is the same thing. This principal in Arizona, she said that, now this principal in Arizona, she said that she was threatened by this man, the man with the zip ties. He's a student's father. And he threatened her by sending her, this is in the Tucson area, by the way. His name is Vargo, and last name is Vargo, and he threatened in Mesquite Elementary School principal. The principal said that his name is Rashi Rambaran, and 2 of his male friends barged into Vargo, the principal's office, threatening to make a citizen's arrest, and they were holding the zip ties. Now, they say in the headline for the story, it says she claims, but look at that picture right there. He's posing with them things. I'm willing to believe that she wasn't making it up. But you're going to threaten your kid's principal because she is, in effect, trying to take measures for general society to keep your kids safe?
So you remember back in the day, they used to say, there was a lot of parents against vaccines, right? And autism, right? Saying that some vaccine can cause autism.
Okay, right.
The fact that the pharmaceutical companies cannot be sued due to the vaccine causing autism. It's just a lot of...
Well, they do get off for everything, too.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of speculations on how you can come up with a vaccine so fast, right? In a year,
right.
A year and a half. How effective the vaccine truly is.
Right.
Because if you could still catch COVID.
Right. That's why I was upset when you first said that. Right. Wait, I can still get it.
Right. What was the purpose of you getting this vaccine, right? You don't get it
to minimize the effects.
Right, okay. To minimize the effects, but if you can still get it, the effects can still happen.
Then it's not a total vaccine, it's a minimizer.
Right. And then if you have to get a booster shot 6 months after, right, it's like, so what did I get the first shot for? And it was almost like they said it was tested, but I think the first couple months, the first year is really the test to see which works and which one doesn't work. We have different variants now, right?
Right.
You don't get a variant unless you have a defeated old version first. So,
or one that's fighting to survive, feels itself on the brink.
The very first vaccine that we got was to beat the very first COVID-19. Then, A came, B came, C came, D came, E came. And right now they're on MU, right? And MU is in Colombia. And MU is way worse than any COVID variant we've ever faced before.
Okay.
Right? So it's just how it evolves in different areas and how it matriculates and is now. Because in the beginning they were saying that it could have been mixed with AIDS, it could have been mixed with this, it could have been mixed with bat, all types of stuff. But right now we're understanding that MU is the very strongest variant that they've ever had, and it's just M. We can go all the way to Z.
Right. We ain't even get to Omega.
and hey.
Right. That's what she said. Oh, she made me lose my thought.
But honestly, you know, for me, it was like, all right, man, I'm just gonna protect myself. I'm just gonna build my face up and try to stay away from all that stuff. You're not putting nothing in my body. I don't know what it is. My mom and dad did that to me when I was a kid. Like you said, they sent me to the hospital and they listened to the white coats. Well, the white coats don't know everything because they're practicing.
Okay. And that's the thing. It's called practice. Why is it doctors?
If you read and study anything, you can get the knowledge that they have. I'm not comfortable with it.
Okay. But you're not comfortable, at least in your discomfort with the vaccine. At least you won't go out and bomb any places that are trying to give you. Okay.
No, I'm not.
Now that's where these guys go wrong, or harm your son's principal.
I think certain people certain people are assertive in different ways, right? You know, you think that's fear to someone, to lock them up and to threaten to bomb everything. But I just, for me personally, I don't see a whole lot of fear in that. I see a whole lot of fear in you. Something that you can't control. You want control. People can't control everything that they do. And somebody telling you to put a face mask on and you don't have one on already, that irritates some people, man. You know, it really does.
See.
And it's like, yo, the face mask mandate has been lifted, but you see in Texas, you see in different areas, in Florida, the numbers are going up, man.
Right.
Like really going up. And they're like, why can't we defeat it? Because you're not following rules.
Right. There we go.
Wear your mask. I'm not worried about the vaccine. Just wear your mask. If the numbers came down before the vaccine was out and everything was going on, and then they came out with the vaccine, then the numbers went down some more, wear your mask to completely eradicate it. But
right, and that's the thing to me, like when you said that, because I'm vaccinated, and you said you can still get it, I was like, well, damn, looks like I'm going to have this mask on for the rest of the year, because I just figured it's just as simple as that. Like, no matter what, just keep the damn mask on. Numbers go down.
I will wear my mask until I take my last breath.
Right. I'm about to throw mine in my face.
Put me in my coffin with my mask on.
Right.
Like, literally.
Oh, man. Speaking of which, Pete, 13, this is the young man going into school. 13.
I got news. Kayaks.
Oh, news. Hold on, let me look at the list. He should be the news. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, you don't have the kid?
Nope.
All right, well, speaking of
This is the kind of neighbor you want. A business owner in Fort Myers, Florida, was fed up with all the potholes on his street, so he decided to do something about it.
Yeah, he decided to branch out and plant a banana tree into the pothole, hoping it would draw attention and get the local officials to work on it. However, they say it's on a private road, not managed by the county, meaning property owners will be stuck in the rut until they themselves pay to tackle the root of that problem.
According to district officials, those who died include teachers, school bus drivers, a security worker, and a cafeteria manager. Said Miami-Dade Superintendent Albert Carvalho, he told NPR, which is where we got the story from, it's a bruising statistic that we need to absolutely internalize. According to the president of the United Teachers of Dade County, Carla Hernandez, she said that all 13 were unvaccinated and all 13 were African American. This sad statistic underscores the impact of misinformation and disinformation efforts through some vocal entities who, quite frankly, profess anything but scientific reality. The consequence is death of individuals, and that's just not acceptable. Oh, you started the story already? Did you start that news? Oh, that was, okay. That was a man who operated in solutions if you didn't hear me over that, folks. But man, we got the potholes all over Pennsylvania. We don't seem to care about our roads. But in case you missed that audio, my man, he took a pothole and planted a banana tree in that pothole. But unfortunately, that pothole banana tree street is on a private road. He put a banana tree in that pothole to try and force local authorities to fix the road. But it's a private road, so the local authorities don't have to fix the doggone thing. That brings us on to our next story. Iowa motorcyclist. You've seen Final Destination, right? There are many times when I'm behind that truck that's trailing along all those cars on it. I get a little nervous. You speed up past that. I've seen Final Destination one too many times. I feel like a brake pad is going to come loose and there's about to be a disaster. A kayak fell from a trailer and killed a 75-year-old motorcyclist. This took place in Iowa. The truck was driving on the road, and 75-year-old John Thine was riding a motorcycle in the opposite lane, going the opposite way. This is according to Iowa State Patrol. One of the kayaks separated from the trailer and struck Thine as the vessel traveled through the air. Thine of Gutenberg, Iowa, was pronounced dead at the scene, and his body was transported to the county morgue. And no charges are going to be filed in that. But that's kind of, I have a couple of cousins who have motorcycles and like to ride, and anything can happen on those. It's just too little protection on the outside of that. Maybe if you I want a little bubble motorcycle. Now that I could rock with. But again, that would, and it would fit my image because I'm not the coolest thing. I'm not the coolest guy. So it would look, not the coolest motorcycle would fit, that'd be right on brand for me. Our next story, this is about a piece of blood. Dumpster. Okay. So, the whole Hurricane Ida, we had the issues with Hurricane Ida coming, and people knew that they were going to be flooded. So down in Tennessee, this was at a Domino's in Tennessee, they were throwing out the dough, getting ready, because they were going to be closed for a day or two, because Tennessee, with all its valleys, endures a lot of flooding. But what happened was that dough sat in the dumpster, and the temperature, it grew. So it's almost like the Blob. If you ever seen the Blob? Okay, like the original, and both of them are scary to me. The original and the remake in the 90s with Kevin Dillon. Yeah. The Blob itself is a scary concept. The Blob had come to the Tennessee Valley. In our next story, White Guy and Family. This next story is about, we didn't mention this story before, but Alex Murdaugh, he's a prominent attorney in the Carolinas. Recently, his wife and his son were found shot to the head, dead on their property. Or his wife and one of his sons, were found shot and dead on his property. Now, the older son had killed someone in a boating accident, and because this family is prominent, like they've been, you know how the good old boy network works anyway with, down below the Mason-Dixon line, but he is old in this town. They're a powerful family. It's almost like Dallas, with the Hewings. They're the Hewings but with law in this town. So his son killed someone in a boating accident. He was drunk. Well, they said he was drunk and operating the vehicle irresponsibly. He got off for that. And then not too long after that, his wife and his son, the formerly accused son, turned up dead in the driveway. Then, recently, as in within the past 2 weeks, I missed the story last week, Murdaugh was shot in the head recently. And then news starts to come out that he's been stealing from his law firm, and he resigned and checked into rehab. And when he got shot in the head, it was a graze wound. So that leads the authorities to think that he did it himself. Basically, this story is like an onion. It's got a lot of layers. There is just a made-for-TV movie just waiting to come from this show, from this whole story, and I'm putting money on it if there's a betting line for it. The last story, this part. Remember we talked about the rough arrest with the little old lady? And she's not up there. For some reason, I don't remember loading. But remember the little old lady? She was mentally, she wasn't mentally unstable, but she was suffering onset of dementia and what have you. So she was, remember, and the 2 rough arrests where they locked the old lady up in the, she's walking down the road. No, not yet. Okay. Well, yeah, before that, my bad. Oh, what is that? Oh, you want to just go with that? Okay. All right, so there was a $3 million, but in that story, before we get on to that, there was an $3 million settlement for that little old lady that was roughly arrested in Colorado. More than half of the time, they've doled out $1 million settlements to surviving victims in wrongful death suits. She got $3 million, an all-time high profile case in which. No, wait. Oh, shit. Oh, yeah. So it was $3 million settlement to that little old lady. So I remember we reported that they had separated her shoulder. This story, P, and what that is you mentioned it last week, that funny little organ that we have to worry about as guys. What's that organ that you're worried? And incidentally, it starts with a P. Your prostate. A Pennsylvania man in Berks County, Monton resident, he claimed he's having a lawsuit because he's 48, by the way. Shit, that's that age where you got to be getting that thing checked, which is the age I am. Anyway, what happened was he had prostate removal surgery to address cancer. The bad news is he didn't actually have cancer. This suit was filed in Berks County Court, and it remains in litigation. Currently, the parties are arguing over subpoenas issued in the case. But in his suit, Manton claims he underwent the surgery this past February after biopsies of his prostate were reported to have tested positive for malignant cancer. The operation caused multiple medical and psychological problems that plague him, he claims in the suit. A post-surgical examination of the man's prostate detected no cancer, the suit states. It states that the surgeon then told him his samples had been switched with another patient's biopsy specimens. The other patient did have cancer. I wonder how the surgeon let that off. So, good news, you don't have cancer. You never did. According to the suit. Now, what happened was they're saying that the biopsy material was in a container with his name on it, but that the slides created with those biopsy samples were not individually labeled. The slides were not read until 4 days later, at which time specimens from several patients were on the table. The explanation left him speechless. I can imagine. Unspecified financial damages are being sought from multiple defendants in the case. That's gotta hurt. That moves us on to female. Oh, this woman took advantage. Oh man, this is Lauren Burbert, or no, not Lauren. Her name is Noam. She's a senator, or excuse me, congressperson. Are we trying to be correct now? Is it Congress? Because actors are, a woman actor used to be an actress. Now she's an actor. So, congressman.
Who says the actress? Who says it's not an actress?
No, they no a lot of that's what they're trying to, you know, the whole woke. You know, that's not woke. That to me either, but you. So there's right. They're calling them all of them are act. Everybody's an actor nowadays. If you act, you're an actor. But so there's no Congress. She's still a congresswoman. Okay, cool. Just trying to be. I don't want no mean emails. I don't feel like it. She actually ordered the desk is valued at $9,000. Would you like to know who made this new desk for her? State prison inmates. So that came out recently. They made her a custom-made desk. Has a nice little gun drawer because she brags about owning a gun, as most of these right-wingers, especially the females, they're bragging about their heat nowadays. And so she ordered this phone. So she's been under some, I wouldn't say fire, but she's now being criticized. But you know how these people, those right-wingers, that's one thing I admire about them. Even when they're in a position where they should say, my bad, they don't. They go the opposite. They double down. Part of me respects that. This next video, or this next story is about, should be a vertical with a gator. No? A gator snatching a drone. They got the drone too close.
Oh, think this food?
Oh, shit! Oh,
my God, he's eating it!
Your phone?
Oh my God! Oh
shit! Oh, what are you doing, George?
Don't eat that, George! No!
No,
George!
no!
Oh shit! Oh my God! Shit! We gotta get out of here.
No,
that's probably not good.
We're still going at it.
Out, you idiot!
Did he die?
My man was a little hurt though about that. He was like, no! I love how the gator started just chewing on the thing. And even when all this smoke, like he takes it out, like, see, this is why I take things down and drown them. So, now this next story, real quick, this is audio here, speaking of animals. There's a gentleman in Australia who's claiming that his duck can mimic him and has learned to mimic him saying bloody fool. And here's audio of it here. I'm gonna go call BS. We've discussed several stories that turned out to be hoaxes. I'm 2 and 3. I'm 2 and 1 as far as calling stories that look like they may be true and saying I think I smell a hoax so far since we've been doing the D Train with Darren DeVoue. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and predict that I'm about to be 3 and 1 calling hoaxes. No, I can't see a duck imitating a human that well. Is it possible? Because I've seen some dogs that can mimic yeah, that's about all he can do. I've heard some dogs where it almost sounds like as if a dog's trying to pronounce a word, but I can't see it for some reason from a duck. I just can't see it because I don't think species. I just can't see it. I think it would have to be now. If you told me a mammal was producing those kind of sounds, I'd be more likely to believe it, but not from a duck. This next story is very cool, and it's about a picture of a green slide, or no, is it video? Oh yeah. This is the result of a former NASA scientist. That's the world record now. That's elephant toothpaste, and it's shooting over 250 feet into the air, which is pretty, if you're a kid, it's pretty cool to see something like that, no? And what's even cooler is why he did it. Go ahead and roll the video. He explains in the video. Go ahead and roll the P.
This is what
what it looks like to close out a year of your life trying to answer one of life's most basic questions. Exactly how high can elephant toothpaste actually be launched into space? Now, if this looks sort of familiar, it's because this isn't my first attempt. Last year, my buddy Fletcher and I were here with this monster of a flask, but with one critical oversight. We didn't make the floor stiff enough because I just didn't consider the forces to be so high they'd lift a 1-ton structure 5 feet into the air. And so while that attempt did yield a new Guinness World Record of 60 feet, I couldn't stop thinking about just how high it could have gone if only all that stuff that came out of the bottom was actually forced to come out through the top. Like, what would happen if I spent the year designing and building something that weighed 5 tons and was basically bomb-proof? And then what if we could just go on to make the world's most epic surprise party by building a massive slip-and-slide skateboard ramp, along with the 26 million Orbeez pool, plus a Devil's Toothpaste explosion 2.5 times bigger than previously? Then the only thing that would be missing would be someone to throw the surprise party for. And that's where my new friend Brody comes in. Now, to understand who Brody is, all you really need to know is that as him and his family were going through an incredibly difficult time in their lives as he narrowly fought through his battle against blood cancer for 3 years, Brody used his one and only Make-A-Wish chance to buy a brand new ATV for another kid with cancer he didn't even know when he heard that kid had his ATV stolen. By the way, I told my friend Mr. Beast this story, and
So I've heard some radio hosts say before, I only say my prayer for kids with cancer. And this guy, like that, he gave an all-time surprise birthday wish to the kid. That's very, how the execution, the reason is all awesome. And our last story, there was a young fella, 8-year-old young man, he was lost in Australia, missing, and like the first one, he was missing for a couple of days, and then eventually.
Stand by, steady.
This is
I've got the boy.
Yeah.
I just got to get obs on the.
Get on the siren, get on the PA, and tell them.
Airport 21.61.
At approximately 11:30 today, Polair 1 was flying over in a ridge that has a creek bed through it. They noticed some movement, and that's what drew their attention. They came back around and got in and had a closer look, and they were able to clearly identify a small boy in a puddle in the creek bed, and he was drinking water at the time. And that was the movement that was able to alert Polair that there was someone there.
Our SES volunteer yelled out to him to start with. He was not able to hear and he didn't react with Polair above him at the moment. Our SES member was actually able to walk all the way to him, put his hand on his shoulder, and he has stated that he turned towards him with a massive smile on his face that he will not forget.
And yeah, you know how we like to end on high notes, and that had to be the highest note of the week. Definitely, you saw how pumped that family was to be reunited with the child. The father said he had went to the temple and prayed, and wound up being reunited with his folks, and thanked the emergency workers and the folks, folks flying the helicopter as well. And that brings us to the end of this week's run of the D Train. Don't forget the D Train is brought to you in part by the Browning Group, which is a full-service security and process serving firm. They specialize in criminal and civil investigation, witness statements, surveillance, workers' comp, and investigations and security guard services. The Browning Group caters to insurance companies, businesses, and private individuals. Call 1-800-939-2978 or go to the Browning Group LLC and tell them you rode the D Train there. Also, special thanks to our other sponsor, the Mad Greek. Always fresh, always delicious. P, it's been emotional. No. Folks, join us next week on next week's Run of the D Train with Darren DeVoue. And don't forget, if you missed the show, you can go to the YouTube or Facebook page or cmpradio.net. Don't forget to share, as it should be done. Spread the word, spread the gospel of CMP, because it is the voice of Chester. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week on the D Train with Darren DeVoue.
We're talking about the heroic work of 2 men.
We're going after your train.
The train keeps rolling all night long. The train keeps rolling all night long.